What is up, everyone? Max Lin here, and welcome to episode 17 of Themindhere. This is my bi-weekly update to everyone about upcoming works for this channel, discussing what I do behind the scenes, and talking about other things that come to mind. It also serves as a way to keep myself accountable and externally motivated to get my work done. If you're interested in how I make my music and videos, feel free to take a look at previous episodes. Welcome to all of you who are here for the first time. If you like my content and want to see more, please consider subscribing. Over the past few weeks, I was finally able to pull myself together and to get into a transcribing mood. Even so, progress on the transcription is fairly limited. On the bright side, I am getting closer to moving on to the next stage of transcribing. At the current stage, I'm doing a lot of chord analysis to get the harmony right. This means that for the most part, I'm just writing down whole notes to represent the chords, unless I come up with some nice arpeggiation pattern with little effort. At these early stages, I play back the original song many times to try to hear what the chords are, so the process is decently time-consuming. Because I'm not concerned about the overall shape of the accompaniment, I'm doing a lot of copying and pasting for common chord progressions, even if the arpeggiation pattern doesn't fit. My music theory knowledge helps since I'm better able to identify the chords and predict what chord should come next, but I still make the final judgment by ear. If the progression doesn't sound right in its original form, I'll make modifications to it until it does. If a nice sounding progression breaks classical music theory rules, then I keep it regardless. Rules, after all, are guides and aren't necessarily right all the time. Towards the beginning of this 2-week period, I released a new song called Failure. This was a planned duo to my earlier song called Success, but as Alfred Prose mentioned, it seems like a prequel, so I'll borrow that idea and call it the prequel. The idea behind this piece was to make it sound both moody and energetic, reflecting what failure sorta feels like. As I was making it, I realized that the 3-measure pattern was odd, since most popular music, and most music that I know for that matter, use a 4-measure pattern. With the 3 measures, it almost seems like something is wrong, which would be appropriate since the song is called Failure. But it also propels the song forward in an almost uncontrollable way. Again, very appropriate. In fact, some of the hi-hats were misplaced purposely to further the feeling of loss of control and errors. Basically, I can't really get anything wrong in this piece because it would feed into the theme of failure. At the end of the song, some of you might notice that it resolves in the major mode, as opposed to the minor mode the whole song was in. This was deliberate to give the message that whatever happens, it'll be better at the end. It also sounds nice, as it's both a contrasting and a pleasing way to finish. Now, I did say that mistakes are good in this piece, but there are still techniques I can work on. For one, some of the drum patterns and layering could be improved, as well as the mixing. For the art, I am becoming more familiar with Krita, but I really would like to improve my artistic skills, especially with the mountains and lava in the thumbnail. Nonetheless, I'm still proud of this work. I'm going to take you all on a little tangent here, but I hope it's insightful to you. For most of my life, I've had an ingrained issue with PR. Most commercials were cringy to me, and I absolutely despised anything approaching propaganda levels. Because of this, I've also had a moral issue with speaking up for myself, or advertising myself to others. Now, at the end of my journey through high school, however, I've come to a clear vision of what I actually despised. My true issue lies in inflated claims. Basically, I'm morally opposed to stretched truths and bragging. This is different from my original view because before, I avoided putting myself out to the world at all. Now, though, I'm becoming more willing to reach out and present myself, but in a manner where I can live up to my words. On a topic more related to my work, after I released that last song, my progress on the channel slowed down a bit to invest in a better system to handle my tasks and my life. I found this amazing video series about Notion, an app that is a database, project manager, and a note-taker all in one. The person behind the series, August Bradley, provides an incredible system and a wonderful new philosophy to live by. I don't think it would be appropriate for me to explain since I'm no expert in it, so I recommend checking him out if you want to learn more. Anyways, the point is, while I was learning about this, my quote-unquote productivity slowed down. I think my takeaway from this experience is that for an individual, investment comes at the cost of production. In other words, you can focus on either building knowledge or building off of knowledge, but not both, at least on a personal scale. This episode's questions come from, you guessed it, Alfred Prose. And a juicy question, in fact. Alfred Prose asks, where do you think passion comes from? I'm pretty sure when people are born, they all start the same. That is, not knowing anything, no passion. Their parents could introduce it to them, but does it mean passion is strictly chosen due to someone or something that gave us the chance to make it as a passion? Is that even free will? Basically, do I think my passions would be different if I were raised in a different setting? This is interesting because it brings up the age-old debate in psychology about nature versus nurture, or how much of us is influenced by genes and how much is by our environment. On this, I tend to agree with the biopsychosocial stance, a view that takes genetics, culture, and environment into consideration. Passion is probably the combination of all three that makes something extraordinarily enjoyable to us. So if I were raised in a different environment, then yeah, I think I'd enjoy things a little differently from how I do now. Just as a disclaimer though, I am no psychologist, and I can't pretend I know everything. That's a whole nother issue that I could discuss later. Alright, that brings a conclusion to this episode. Thank you everyone for listening. I appreciate the support you all have given me throughout this process. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to let me know in the comments section down below. Stay healthy, and I will see you in the next video.